Hey everyone, Brian from All Day Ruck Off here, and today we're doing the first mileage update on the GORUCK MACV-1 boots. These boots have had 50 miles put on them so far by myself, and a comment on the unboxing video, I mentioned that I would be doing updates every 50 miles. So here we are, 50 miles done, update on these boots. I ordered three pairs of the boots. I ordered a size 12, a size 13, a size 14. I wear size 13s, and the 12 and the 14 showed up on a Friday. The 12 was too tight. The 14, there was too much slippage. And then that size 13 didn't show up until Monday. And so I was nervous when it was coming in because those other two didn't fit right, but the 13 was perfect. So that's the pair I kept. I returned the 12s and the 14s. So I wear a size 13 normally, kept the size 13 MACV-1 boots. They showed up on a Monday night, and that Tuesday I took them out for a 4 mile ruck. It was a pretty straightforward ruck, just 4 miles on concrete through some neighborhoods. I just wanted to see how they would fit. I wanted to see how they felt. I wanted to see if there were any hot spots, any chafing, any heel rubbing, just anything like that out of the ordinary that could lead to disaster if they were going for longer than 4 miles. So thankfully had no issues at all. Very impressed with them for that first four. They were definitely a little stiff when they showed up. I didn't have any issues doing those 4 miles, but compared to when I first got them to where they are now, 50 miles later, they definitely feel like they're maybe not more broken in, but they're more molded to my feet. I actually brought my GoPro with me on the first three rucks, and I did a couple recordings just so that I would remember how they felt when I was out there rucking. I thought that was a good idea because, GORUCK events, they're tough when you're at it and they suck. And then months later, you look back and you just remember the good times. So I wanted to make sure I remembered everything with the boots when I was out there and not just the good times when I was looking back weeks later trying to make this video. Just out here on my first ruck with the GORUCK MACV-1 boots. I'm really excited. I unboxed them yesterday, doing 6 miles today, about 5.25 in already. And I gotta say they feel pretty good. No hot spots, no issues. The ankle support's great. And I was filming some video, and if I'd been wearing tennis shoes, I might have rolled an ankle, but thanks that these have a nice support, my ankles are all good. Clearly I'm going through some man-made paths here, doing a little bit of off-road rucking, I guess, and some sidewalk rucking, just to see how these things handle the two different elements that you really see in the Seattle area events. I'm really excited, obviously, about these boots, and I'm probably gonna be putting together videos every 50 miles or so, just going over what I've done in them, how they've held up, how they're looking, any issues, all that good stuff. So excited to see where these things take me and how they work. I took them on some dirt paths, on some concrete again, and just kind of really tried to feel them out, see how they would do. And there were, again, no issues, no hot spots, no rubbing, no blisters, no even like remote signs of any of those starting. So I was feeling pretty confident in them on that Wednesday. I had put in 10 miles on them, no issues. That Thursday, I put another 4 miles on them, shot another video on the GoPro. Haven't had any issues, any hot spots, any blisters, nothing bad so far. But then again, I'm sure you can see the trail behind me. This is concrete, so haven't taken them up into the mountains or anything like that yet. Possibly this weekend, we'll see. Excited to get 50 miles on these and put together a real video. I took them on some inclines and some decline. So I wanted to know how they would do with a steeper grade than your traditional sidewalk, because the following day on a Friday, I was doing a GORUCK Tough event in the mountains. So I was really, really wanting to bring the MACV-1s with me. I'd only owned them for 3 days at that point, but I thought, what better way to test out the boots than at a GORUCK event? I ended up bringing them to that GORUCK Tough event. I've got another video up that goes into more detail about that event, how the boots performed there, but very high level, so we don't have to spend another 7 minutes on that. The shoes were great. It was a almost 15-hour event. We went over 19 miles. There was 3,700 foot of elevation gain and then another 3,700 foot of elevation descent. And the only issues the entire event were that maybe 1,500 feet into the descent, my front toes started hitting the front of the boots, and it was just kind of a little uncomfortable. But at the same time, everyone else who was there at that event was complaining about the exact same thing. So I don't really chalk that up to the MACV-1s. I think it's just a steep descent. That's kind of what happens. You can get around that by sizing up on your boots, but if you size up, then you'll have other issues. So it really depends on what you want to do with them. I put all the miles on these boots using Darn Tough cushion boot socks. They're my favorite socks for GORUCK events. They're a little bit thicker than the other boot socks. And especially for the MACV-1s, that's really nice because I don't know if they're just a little bit bigger than normal sizing, but my feet definitely feel like they have a little bit of extra room in these 13s. And in the end, it's awesome because when you're out there rucking, your feet will swell a bit and there's room for them in the boots. If you're wearing these casually, then you might not like that as much because you've got a little bit of extra room. But those Darn Tough socks are really nice and they kind of remove a little bit of that extra space. Finished up that GORUCK Tough event, and that was 33 miles on them at that point. I had some Pathfinder challenges and workouts to do before Pathfinder ended on October 31st. So I was doing a lot of workouts in these, doing a lot of 4 to 6 mile rucks in them. I did a 8 mile coupon ruck in it. And again, there were no issues at all. I was thrilled with the boots, and after the GORUCK Tough event, they seemed to be doing even better than before. I had been reading online that some people had issues with using them in wet grass. So for one of the workouts, I did a bunch of bear crawls, a bunch of crab walks, a bunch of mountain climbers, a bunch of lunges, all in soaking wet grass, just to see how they would handle it. They handle it about what you'd expect from boots that have a sole that's kind of like a running shoe. These definitely aren't like the Moab ventilators or some Rocky boots. So there were a couple slipping issues, but nothing worse than running shoes. In fact, they're definitely better than the running shoes that I do most of my GORUCK events in. So they weren't real issues. It was just foot slippage during mountain climbers. And I mean, that's going to happen after you've done enough mountain climbers in a spot anyways. After I did all of that, I took them on a 6 mile ruck and I went and got them soaking wet in the water. And the goal there was, I realized up until that point, they had not been completely submerged. And so I wanted to see how the drain holes worked. I was incredibly impressed when I got out of the water, and I was noticing that the water didn't drain when you were standing there, but every single step you took, your foot kind of pushed it out. And it probably was 20 to 30 steps, and my foot had pushed all of the water out of the boots. I was kind of in awe. They drain way better than any other shoe I've worn in the past, and that's definitely going to be awesome at upcoming GORUCK events. One of the final things I did with these boots in those first 50 miles is I took them out for a 3.25 mile run. I wanted to see how they would handle running. They're incredibly lightweight. I was very curious with how they would do running because I do a lot of running and I like running shoes. I got them out there. I did that 3.25 miles in just under 25 minutes. They weren't bad. They definitely weren't bad. They weren't great, but they weren't bad. I wouldn't recommend these for running shoes. If you're looking for a pair of running shoes, don't buy the MACV-1s. Buy a pair of running shoes. But at a GORUCK event, you're going to be doing possibly a little bit of running, and these would handle that perfectly. The weirdest part about doing the run was definitely that higher ankle support. I'm not used to that in running shoes, and so it's not really a bad thing or a good thing. It was just different, and I'm not used to it. That was the only really weird part about doing the run. Getting into the boots, what I like about them, what I don't like about them. The boots are incredibly comfortable, and part of that is due to the workhorse insoles. And so these are the custom insoles that GORUCK has made for these boots. If you watch the unboxing video, this is where one of the GORUCK logos was, I think on the 5 GORUCK logos on the boot. So in the first 50 miles, that logo is nearly all gone. These things are incredibly thick, and they've got some decent padding to them. They're really comfortable. If you like a cushy insole, these are great. I'm not used to cushy insoles. I never change the insoles in my running shoes. I never upgrade them or do anything. I just use that really cheap, really flat insole, and I usually run a hole in them. So this has been a nice change, and it's actually worked out better than I thought it would. Speaking of running shoes, I put a lot of miles on my running shoes. The last shoes I used at the Star Course, I put over 1,000 miles on them. The pair before that, over 1,000 miles. So I'm really excited to put a lot of miles on these boots and just to see how they hold up compared to the pairs of running shoes that I'm used to. Those old Brooks that I put over 1,000 on, they've got holes in the side. You can reach in, you can touch your toes. There's holes, literal holes in the insoles where you can put your fingers through. They're not in good shape, but they still work really well. I can't wait to see how these look after 100 miles, 200, hopefully up to 500 and 1,000. Very excited to see what happens to them. My thoughts on the boots, 50 miles in, very glad I purchased them. $195. They've got a lifetime warranty through GORUCK, part of the SCARS program. If you wreck them, run the tread completely off the bottom through rucking and GORUCK events, it sounds like they'll replace the boot completely for you. So as long as I keep rucking in these, keep using these at GORUCK events, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to just use these for the rest of my life. As soon as I've put however many miles it is until the bottom's completely gone, send them to GORUCK, they'll send me a new pair of boots, and I no longer have to ruin my running shoes at GORUCK events. I've gone through a couple pairs of Moab ventilators. I've gone through at least a half dozen pairs of running shoes at GORUCK events. So I'm excited to just have my hiking shoes be hiking shoes. Maybe I'll bring these hiking, we'll see, and have my running shoes be running shoes. Definitely not going to be running anymore in these. And then the MACV-1s will be strictly for rucking and strictly for GORUCK events. If you've got any questions about these boots, please feel free to leave a comment. I will definitely do my best to answer it or find the answer for you. If you want to see what these looked like when they were brand new, I've got an unboxing video of them, which has a really good discussion tied to it in the comments. And then if you wanted to see some of the screens from that GORUCK Tough event I did in the mountains, and then just some more insight on how the boots held up there, you can check out that video as well. Thank you so much for the incredible support. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Would truly appreciate that. And if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe. That would be truly appreciated as well. Got lots more awesome videos in the works. Some of them already recorded. Can't wait to release them. And there's going to be some really good ones in there. Don't forget, attitude is everything. Keep yours positive and drink hard, ruck harder.